Hello and welcome to Forever Motorsports. My name is Reece and today we'll be going over the latest news in the world of Formula 1. But before we get into that, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can be up to date with all of the latest Formula 1 news. To get into the first article here today, Red Bull have hit back at their rivals amid new Formula 1 rule rumours. In recent weeks, noise has been made over Red Bull's close ties with Alpha Tauri, but Christian Horner has played down criticism of their relationship. Red Bull team principal Christian Horner has played down the criticism of his squad's close relationship with the Alpha Tauri team. Media reports in recent weeks have suggested that there is dissatisfaction over the collaboration between Red Bull and Alpha Tauri. Red Bull has owned two Formula 1 teams on the grid ever since it purchased Minardi and rebranded it to Toro Rosso in 2006. Next year's campaign is set to see the two squads work as closely together as the Formula 1 regulations permit, but in a recent meeting, the other teams reportedly called for new rules to limit the extent of the ties. However, Horner played down the significance of the partnership, pointing to other existing affiliations on the grid. When asked if the collaboration between Red Bull and AlphaTauri could narrow the difference in performance, Horner told media, "I have no idea. It's down to the quality of people that will be in the team. Of course, there are certain components that we can supply, as it is the case with Ferrari and Mercedes, who supply two Grand Prix teams with gearboxes, suspension, simulation tools, and wind tunnel. That's an identical relationship between the companies. Of course, it is then down to them, how they use those tools, and you can see that McLaren has used the tools in certain respects better than their supplier has done in the second half of the season. So it is really down to how they make use of what they're permitted within the regulations." So of course, Red Bull just not wanting to see other teams saying that they're allowing the AlphaTauri team to directly copy their car for 2024 and beyond, but they are allowed within the regulations to take a certain set amount of parts from their Red Bull sister team, as is Haas, who's a customer team of Ferrari, as is McLaren, as is Williams, who are all customer teams of Mercedes. So it is nothing really new. They're pretty much just seen as a customer team to Red Bull, even though they are a sister team. But moving on to our next article then, Hamilton has said that Wolff and Mercedes are under huge pressure to deliver in 2024. Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff and his team are under a huge amount of pressure to ensure that the team's 2024 car delivers next year, said Lewis Hamilton. Off the back of a winless campaign for the German manufacturer, the Brackley-based squad is pining hopes of a revival on an all-new car concept for the 2024 season. But the seven-time world champion Hamilton suggests that there is little room for manoeuvre if Mercedes gets it wrong. In an interview, Hamilton said everyone at his team was feeling it ahead of what is a critical winter in ensuring its 2024 car development. Asked how much pressure team boss Toto Wolff was under, Hamilton said, "A huge amount, for sure. Not just Toto, but globally, all of us. Everyone back at the factory, a huge amount of pressure is on all of them. Ultimately, as a boss like Toto, you have to start leaning on people more, rather than backing off on them. And how you do that is not easy, as people break at a certain point. So how do you do it in a constructive way, in a way that's inspiring them to continue? For me, hopefully some of the race results and drives that I've been able to put in, I like to think that it sparks inspiration for the guys, like, oh, we're almost there, and that trickles down through the whole system." Hamilton acknowledged that Mercedes has struggled to find direction with its car over the previous 2 years, saying that it lacked a clear development direction. "We didn't have a North Star necessarily at the beginning of the year, knowing exactly where we needed to work towards," he said. And it's been kind of a zigzag line, trying to freaking get to where we need to be. And every now and then something positive happens. You're like, okay, that's it. And then it shifts, so the goalpost is always moving, which is typical. However, off the back of this year's infrastructure changes, that included the return of technical director James Allison to the frontline duties, and a switch of car concept, Hamilton is far more encouraged now. He said, "Yes, I do believe that we have a North Star now, which I don't think we've had for 2 years. But still getting there is not a straight line. There were just certain things, decisions that had to be made, that just left you blocked at the end of the road. And you can't do anything because of the cost cap and all of these different things. If you look at Red Bull, they've just done an amazing job. But from Bahrain last year, they had a bouncing issue and fixed it that week. It's like you're trying to build a wall. It was one brick after the other. Brick, brick, brick. Just development, development, development. Maybe they added something and it didn't add performance, but they were still building. For us, we had to knock down the wall. We had a lot of area on the first car last year, but we had to basically knock a ton of downforce off of it and then slowly try to add it back on. But every time we tried to add it, it was worse. We just didn't improve for a long, long time. So you can imagine that Red Bull are progressing, and we're going like this. Then eventually, it's slowly coming up while they're continuing. That gap, while we are just on massively different trajectories. But I think we understand that the car is so much better now. We have developed great tools in the background, so naturally, I'm hopeful, but I'm not going to hold my breath. We certainly hope that Mercedes and Lewis Hamilton are able to make a step forward next year to be able to challenge not only in the first couple of races before everyone just develops their car for the entire season, but we want to see them being able to challenge throughout the season and challenge with the likes of Red Bull at the top. We don't want to see another runaway season from Red Bull, and hopefully Mercedes will be able to pick up their socks and be able to really come with a radically different car for the 2024 season. On to the next article though. Verstappen has poached some new personnel for his 2024 season, as his personal trainer resigned from the team and he has gone and stolen Carlos Sainz's personal trainer. Red Bull has found a new personal trainer for Max Verstappen in Rupert Manwaring, following the departure of Bradley Scanes. Max Verstappen has poached Carlos Sainz's personal trainer, Rupert Manwaring, ahead of the 2024 season. Manwaring has worked with Sainz since his Formula 1 debut in 2015, but after 8 seasons at the side of the Spaniard, he has elected to move to Red Bull, to replace the departing Bradley Sainz. Manwaring works with Hinster Performances, the performance coaching company launched by the late Dr. Aki Hinster, who worked with Lewis Hamilton and Mika Hakkinen. In a twist of fate, Verstappen's father Jos also worked with Manwaring's own father, also called Rupert, during his own racing career. Certainly Carlos Sainz will be a little bit sad to see his personal trainer stepping away, but it is always great to get some fresh blood in the Red Bull team. Also, speaking about Red Bull team and, well, not just Red Bull, but Alpha Tauri, some of their personnel moving away for the 2024 season is the likes of team boss Franz Tost, who was set to exit the team, but now has a new role at Red Bull. Alpha Tauri team principal Franz Tost might be heading towards semi-retirement, as he is set to end his existing role for the new role of being Red Bull's standby consultant until the end of 2025. Tost's retirement from the current role marks the end of an era at Alpha Tauri, the team he had led since its inception in 2006. The 2023 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix marked the end of Tost's journey, with Red Bull's sister team following his decision to retire from the position. Previously known as Toro Rosso and currently undergoing a name change, Tost's tenure saw the development of talents like Max Verstappen and Sebastian Vettel, who went on to achieve success with Red Bull. Notable drivers such as Daniel Ricciardo, Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, and Yuki Tsunoda also received their Formula 1 opportunities under Tost's leadership. Speaking to Sky Sports Germany, Marco confirmed that Tost will be available to the team as a consultant after his exit as team principal. Marco said he will be doing standby consulting for the years 2024 and 2025. If we or the people at Alpha Tauri need him, they can contact him, but he is free to do anything else that doesn't clash with Formula 1. After 18 years, he deserves to finally be able to pursue his love of skiing as a Tyrolean. Recognizing his efforts, Marco appreciated Tost's role in schooling champions like Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. He has a hard bone with a soft centre, he said. It hurts. It wasn't just the 18 years with us. He was in motorsport with many others before that. The extraordinary thing about him is that the 2 world champions were brought in and went to school with him. The training was so good that they were immediately able to fight for the title at Red Bull Racing, which is a huge credit to him. Moving on to the final article here for today, Nico Hülkenberg has sent serious messages to Haas after being brutally overtaken in 2024. After 2023 rather. After a rather challenging 2023 season, Haas driver Nico Hülkenberg feels that the team need to pull their socks up for 2024. Hülkenberg has sent a serious message to his Haas team after struggling quite badly in the season's grand finale in Abu Dhabi. The team ended the 2023 season at the bottom of the Constructors' Championship with just 12 points to their name. Haas's VF23 Formula 1 car faced two major challenges throughout the season: high tyre degradation and a lack of upgrades. Though a major upgrade package was introduced at the US Grand Prix, Hülkenberg ran the old spec in Las Vegas and in Abu Dhabi, as opposed to teammate Kevin Magnussen, who preferred the newer spec. However, the last race proved that the upgrades didn't seem to work at all. At the Yas Marina circuit, Haas faced major challenges similar to the overall season. While Hülkenberg performed well in qualifying, starting in 8th place, the car's increased tyre wear caused him to drop to 15th during the race, while Magnussen finished last in 20th place. Both cars ran with minor differences in their spec. Nico Hülkenberg went on to say, "I don't think there's a huge difference between them, minor differences. Last weekend, I felt actually that the new package had an edge over the old package on a low downforce configuration. This weekend, I felt quite okay. Kevin didn't feel so happy. They are also so similar, but that's in itself obviously not good enough. An update is supposed to be better and fix some of your issues, and unfortunately, that didn't happen." When he was asked if there was anything specific that needed to change over the winter break, the Haas driver added, "I don't know if it proved anything. We need to work harder because I want us to do better. We need to pick up our feet and do a better job." The signs were there earlier on in the season, and we got away with it early in the season as well, because other people were also struggling. Once they cleaned up and brought some real development, that's when we've started to really pay the penalty. The second half of the season has really been tough. There was only an opportunity to score a point or two for me in Singapore, which we missed. Apart from that, we just never had the pace to do it, even when there was a lot of cars developing out. Even when there was a lot of cars dropping out, we were just too far away from it. Of course, that's not great, and that's why we need to do better. Adding further, Hülkenberg sent a message to the factory that the car was not faster and some serious work needed to be done for next year. "I have demonstrated that the car is not faster and that it quite clearly is a problem. It's a message to our factory, to the engineers and mechanics. Next year, we have to do things differently. That has been our problem this year. Our development was at a standstill, and we have been brutally overtaken." Nico Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen will certainly be hoping for a better 2024 season, but unfortunately in the last couple of years, and pretty much since their debut in Formula 1, they have been at the back of the Formula 1 grid. Well, we'll have to see what they can do in 2024, but I don't really have any major hopes for them and their next season. But be sure to let us know in the comment section what you think of Nico Hülkenberg's comments and what you think of all of these other Formula 1 articles that we went over today. And be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I've been Reece on Forever Motorsports. Cheers.